All right, so let's talk about this. So you have a new beginning. A lot of you have left a relationship partner. A lot of you have, severed ties with people and you're starting a brand new chapter in your life, which is a really, really beautiful energy. You still have some financial concerns that might be linking you together. So this can even be property. It can be joint assets. It can also be like, custody issues regarding children, alimony even. I'm feeling there are still financial ties preventing this new beginning from taking off. Okay. So you both are still karmically bound together. And I feel like for a lot of you, you might be separated, but you're not completely divorced. So to me, that indicates a string of attachment, like a cord of attachment. If you want a truly, truly new start in your life, you have to get those things sorted out and you have to proceed with the legal paperwork and things like that. Because I feel like some cord of attachments via finances, via contracts that are blocking your progress when it comes to new beginnings. Okay. A lot of you are contemplating this situation, even you haven't done it yet, because I feel like there are financial considerations. And I feel like you're very, very anxious and worried. You don't know how you're going to be able to do it on your own. And you don't know. So like you're in a state where you're just like, I really need to get myself out of here, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know if I can do it on my own. So Sagittarius, going back to what I mentioned about the mid-month April video, you are a lot stronger than you think, and you're very lucky, okay? And you have some protection here. So the Five of Pentacles is a situation where there is shelter, there is help, and there's also like a place of refuge. You just have to be resourceful, and you have to know how to look, where to look. So this is what I want to mention. And I have a Sagittarius moon, and I know that here's the trick, okay? Whenever you have like, three things that you have to do, you like touch this thing and you're just like, oh, and then like after 5 minutes you get bored of it and then you start on the next thing and then you get bored of it and then you start on the next thing. The trick here is just, blast through one thing, knock it out of the way, and then reward yourself with like a cookie or something. Whatever it is that you find rewarding, watch an enjoyable movie or do something that you enjoy. So that's your reward for getting, one thing done. And then tackle the next thing and stretch it out over a long period of time if you need to. But just don't touch the other two things until you get that first thing done. And that's how you're going to have to approach this, because like when things start piling on, you get really, really nervous and then you start like feeling overwhelmed, and you get very overwhelmed very easily. So like I mentioned, your ruler is Jupiter, and Jupiter is a planet of expansion, and it tends to exaggerate problems. When you're like happy, it's great because, it exaggerates your joy and your satisfaction, which is a great thing. When you're sad or when you're overwhelmed, it's really bad. So one of the things here is that I feel like you're making mountains out of molehills. And it's really important for you to keep things into perspective, to not get frustrated when things start piling on. Take care of one thing at a time. Do a checklist. This is what I've learned from my Virgo sister, and it helps. Okay, it really helps put your fears and put all those things into perspective. So I feel like a lot of you are at that stage where things are like piling on, and you're starting to feel very destabilized, and you're starting to feel just scared. Scared, nervous, anxious, okay? Things are like starting to pile on. So the main thing here is to stay on top of it. Don't let it control you, and check things off as you go. Tackle one thing at a time. Don't try to do, three things, or don't try to rummage through and see which one is the funnest thing to do. Just tackle one thing at a time, and then check them off as you go, and then reward yourself, do whatever you need to do. But it's a really good way for I guess like anxiety management. It's a really good way to do that. Okay, so I encounter this energy a lot when I read for Sagittarius, so this is something you're going to have to do. If you are in a situation and you're overwhelmed and you're just like, how am I going to make ends meet, write down a list of like the essentials that you need to do. So this is just basic budgeting things, but I feel like when it's in your head, it tends to be blown out of proportion. When you actually write it down, then it's going to help you overcome the anxiety and the fears, because you're going to look at the numbers and you're going to realize it's not as bad. Okay. So things are not that bad. And honestly, I feel that even when it comes to your finances, there are sources of help. And greatly, we have the Judgment card. This is a card about family reunion. So family members will be a great source of emotional, financial, and physical support for you. So lean on them if you need to. Okay. You're not alone in this. So I feel a lot of you are scared, but you're not alone in this, okay? So hang on a little bit further, okay, Sagittarius? What I do feel here is, once again, warning regarding a younger person, okay? So we have a love offer here. The Princess of Cups, this is like the Page of Cups in the traditional tarot. And I feel like this is coming in from a younger person. And this is definitely concerns. It can be concerns about a younger person, like children that you're dealing with. Somebody might be missing somebody. I feel like if you're dealing with children, there is some type of like confusion or some type of depression or some type of like, I would say like, you know, like for example, if you have a child and you've recently separated from the father or, you know, the mother, whoever it is, and you have the child, there might be nostalgia from the child forcing you to contact the other person. But I feel like your heart is not into contacting the other person. You don't want to re-engage, but you have to because of the child, okay? And it's heartbreaking for me to say this actually, because I feel like for a lot of you that might be the case, and you're trying to do what's best for the child. So I feel some type of missing somebody, like a child missing a mother, missing a father, and then as a result of it, you have to cater to your child and you have to re-engage in contact with the other person that you'd rather leave behind. So I feel like it's flowing both ways, either from the Sagittarius or from the former partner of Sagittarius. Do what's right for the child, because I feel like it's not that bad, okay? Don't blow it out of proportion. Maintain your emotional control and you're going to be fine. On the other hand, I do feel for those of you who are dating somebody that is younger, potentially a water sign. So this is Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. What I'm feeling almost as if there is some type of misleading information, like confusion and deception as well. Okay, so be careful about this. Both of these cards indicate very strong psychic link, possibly with another water sign where you feel this really strong emotional connection with them. But I definitely feel there is some confusion. You're not getting the whole story. So when I mention a younger person, I feel like it's significantly younger and you're not getting the whole picture. So be careful when dealing with them, interacting with them. Get the story straight. And honestly, if you're in a place where you have a lot of other things that are on your mind, honestly, love and confusion in love should not be incorporated into your life. So I hope that makes sense, okay? It's not like, you know, under normal circumstances, if everything was going well, you do what you want to do. But I feel like you have a lot on your plate. You have a lot of things that are kind of like up in the air, and you don't need this distraction, okay? So choose wisely and you know, act accordingly, all right? In terms of your emotional state, we have here the Five of Cups as well as the Fool. So you're starting a brand new path in your life, and you're starting like on a very, very good journey. And I basically feel that, you know, a lot of you, I know that Saturn transit is still going on and it's very difficult, but it basically is like the universe's way to autocorrect. If you've been veering off track, last month and this month brought about major epiphanies, okay? Last month and this month will bring about major epiphany. I feel like especially during that whole Mercury retrograde as well. Mercury retrograde, I feel like in May, I feel like everything that you swept under the rug has to come out and has to be dealt with. And that was quite a difficult process. And I feel like in the end of the end of May, so around May 20th, May 21st, we have a full moon. So I feel that a lot of things had to be let go of, okay? Full moons are a really good time for a release. And these are things that you know you have to let go. So a lot of you have let things go and you're feeling very optimistic at this point and you're feeling really, really good. But I definitely feel like possibly children, possibly other considerations are making you step back and revisit this situation like emotionally. You're still pining after the other person emotionally. I feel like you're not going back to it, but there is still that sadness, that grief. So the point here is that you can't start a new phase in your life and pretend like everything is okay until you actively mourn the end of that relationship. Okay, so this is basically letting things, I guess, like laying things to rest. So this means stop second guessing yourself. Did I or did I not make the right choice? Will they or will they not come back? Or, like, am I going to be okay on my own? The point here is that you can't go back to this situation. It was not on your karmic path. The universe had to intervene to do some autocorrect in your life because honestly, I feel like you were hanging on to a situation for way too long and it was not good for you. So I feel like you can't move past it and start a new life for yourself until you mourn it, until you come to terms with it within yourself. This is not about getting answers from another person. This is not about, getting the last word. This is pretty much about, I need to move on from this. So I need to mourn it. I need to like set it in the ground, lay it to rest and accept it so that I can move on. Okay. So that's what I'm feeling here. And I feel like for a lot of you, there was a situation where the other person that you're dealing with might have some type of an emotional up and down, which indicates to me like depression or something similar, like some type of a personality disorder where they're like hot and cold, but it's not just a minor hot, like blowing hot and cold. I feel like depression. I feel like very strong emotional ups and downs, like, bipolar, like something very extreme. And I feel like a lot of the times you tell yourself that, oh, they're just going through a phase or they have this condition and you made a lot of allowances for their behavior. But I feel like for a lot of you, you're starting to realize that no matter what, it's a condition and it's not good for you to stay in it. So you have to move on. And that's why it hurts, because you love the other person, you care about them. And when you love very deeply and you commit yourself very deeply, and there are children involved, I feel, for many of you in this situation. So it's a difficult decision, but you made allowances for it. But the point here is that this is somebody this is a situation where the other person needs help. Okay. They need support, but they need like professional help. So I feel like no matter what you try to do, it wasn't going to be enough. And it was really emotionally, spiritually draining for you as well. So you have to like take care of yourself. And especially if you have children involved, if there are young people involved as well, you have to take care of, and try to do what's best for the greater good, I feel. Okay. So I know that it's painful, but you have to really come to terms within yourself that I can't go back to this situation. I have to let it go. So cast it in the river, let it float away and move on with your life. Okay. You can't do that until you mourn it, until you accept it for what it is and let it go. And then you can start your life all over. All right. What we're ending with by the end of this month, this is looking really, really good. So you have the Wheel of Fortune, which is basically your luck turning around. So I mentioned earlier, Sagittarius, don't be afraid. And you're a lot luckier than you think. A lot of the times I feel like, Jupiter is the guardian angel aspect too. So if you've ever had your natal chart done, if Jupiter falls in the 8th house, it indicates guardian angels, divine protection. And this is like a lot of blessing coming to you in ways that you would never expect. Okay. So a lot of the times, we think on the physical plane. And whenever we make a decision, we think about, all the potential outcomes, right? Like A, B, C. And because we're humans. We can only imagine those scenarios. But I feel like the universe has something else that is so much better than what we can imagine. And the thing about that is you have to have faith that something good is going to happen outside of those three scenarios that you laid for yourself, because the universe works in very, very miraculous ways. So if you are in a situation where you're stuck because the three options that you can foresee are not good options, and you feel like there's no way I can pick one of those options, so I'm not going to do anything, I'm just going to stay where I'm at. So it's telling you here to have faith, because the fourth, fifth, sixth options will start to open up once you close some doors. And I feel for a lot of you, you have closed some doors, because it's pretty clear here. We have a lot of new beginnings, blank pages, new chapters. But I feel that you're still in a lot of fear. There's still a lot of fear about starting over, about being on your own more than anything, about being on your own, and about, having to take care of responsibilities, and about having to plan long term. You're very good at planning things, like within the day, within the next week. But when it gets to like careers, when it gets to like, long term 5-year plan, 10-year plan, it gives you a lot of anxiety, because that's a lot of expectation and that's a lot of pressure on you. So you don't plan these things. So in your head, it seems like you have these three options and none of them look very favorable. Well, there is something else in store for you, and it's going to be really good. And I feel like it's going to be beyond what you imagine your life to be. Okay. So this is basically, I feel like it's reassuring to tell you this, because I feel that a lot of you are in a very tough situation and you can't see a way forward. I honestly see like a lot of melancholy associated with these cards. A lot of cup energy, a lot of water, and you're a fire sign. So I don't really enjoy seeing that, okay? But I feel that it's reassuring to let you know that things will get better, things will turn around, things will work in your favor, because you did a lot of hard work, or you got through a lot of tough times, and you're kind of like on the tail end where you're getting the rewards, okay? So I mentioned don't rest on your laurels. I believe in the May mid-month reading, you have to push through. And the last stage about pushing through is basically being on your own, standing firm on your ground, and don't second guess yourself. Don't let this little thing, like that voice in the back of your head, make you doubt yourself. So it's like that nudging feeling in the back of your mind, like, did I make the right choice? Am I going the right way? Like, don't let that take over, okay? Don't let that take over. Trust what you see in your physical environment. Don't let intangible things give you anxieties and make you second guess your path, because you are on the right path. You were off track before. I would say, like, for a lot of you, about 4 months ago, 6 months ago, you were definitely off track. Now you're in the right, I guess, like you're being accelerated along a good path, okay? What's coming in as well? We have here the King of Wands. So the King of Wands usually comes in as a person that can bring about a lot of inspiration, a lot of opportunities, especially like on the creative project front or on the work front. It doesn't indicate to me like so much of a financial situation, but this is somebody that brings about a lot of inspiration, okay? This is also an energy for you because you're a fire sign. So Sagittarius, if it's not you, it's a person, a fire sign coming in. So Sagittarius, Leo, Aries, and this can be their sun, moon, or rising. And I do feel for a lot of you, we're going to do the love reading next, but what I'm feeling is this might be another person that you are romantically involved with. So this might have been somebody that was in the past coming back in to block your progress. So this could potentially be somebody that was that is quite controlling, that is quite like forceful. So I feel like they might be physically blocking your progress, okay? On the other hand, if this is like a brand new person, this is like a new romantic interest. Okay, so Sagittarius, Leo, Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. If you were dealing with somebody like this from the past, then it's the energy of somebody controlling and somebody that is like physically getting in your way to prevent you from starting a new chapter in your life. So it's going to play out in one of those two ways. And if it's somebody from the past, it doesn't have to be a fire sign. It could just be somebody that you have children with, you share children with. They might have their own children from other relationships. It doesn't even have to be a male figure, but I definitely see some delay, some progress being blocked or like thwarted by this person. So be careful about that, Sagittarius. Keep yourself focused and don't second guess, don't doubt yourself, okay? So let's see in terms of your advice. These are really important cards. Okay, so there is temptation here, and I want you to be careful, okay? This is like the temptation to stray. So first of all, we have here the Two of Swords, and the Two of Swords is a situation in which somebody is being kept in the dark about something. They have their intuition, it's like working overtime, and they're getting like intuitive like messages saying that something is wrong, but they don't have proof in the physical environment, okay? They don't have proof just yet. This is also a card about denial. This is like the woman, she is blindfolded and she's in a situation where it's not looking too warm, it's not looking too great, but she's comfortable staying there rather than making a move, okay? So this is a card about complacency, not making a decision, being very, very fearful, not having like positive options to choose from. What I'm feeling happening in your environment is for a lot of you, you're dealing with somebody that is quite sneaky. This is like slinking away in the middle of the night, possibly having to slip away unnoticed. Somebody is doing something, and I feel like nighttime activities and things like that, like doing something under the cover of the night. So basically doing something that you're not supposed to. This is happening in your environment. And I feel for a lot of you, there might have been some denial about this situation. Okay. If you have temptation to step out of your relationship, there is, I feel like a fire sign energy coming through for you. And fire signs are very spirited, but they're also like the major player in the deck. So that means they're in and out of your life and they're not planning to stay. Okay. What I'm also sensing is, Sagittarius, I honestly feel like there's a lot of temptation for a lot of you that we're not dealing with troublesome relationships, you know. I feel like you have like a lot of suitors. You might be coming in and out of somebody's life. And I feel almost as if you're rushing into something that you're not supposed to. That's what I'm feeling here. Because the way the cards interact with one another, we have the Prince of Wands, which is potentially your energy. You're rushing into this sneaky situation and you're not supposed to. So I feel almost like others of you, you have to resort to sneaky behavior because you're dealing with somebody who's quite cutthroat and you don't want to reveal your cards because they might, you know, use it against you. For others of you, you might be you might be like rushing into a situation that is a little bit difficult, okay? I feel the overall advice here is that for a lot of you, you have to take matters into your own hands. That's what it is. I feel like you can't be in denial about this anymore. You can't protect. So don't fear reprisal. Don't fear harm. I don't feel that you have anything to be worried about because you have some very strong divine protection. And what I'm feeling is if someone did something wrong, pursue legal action. Go after it. Don't take it lying down. You know, get upset over it. Fight for justice, you know, get the outcome that you deserve. So that's what I'm feeling here as the advice for a lot of you is just don't take this situation lying down. Find ways to get around it and, you know, fight for what you believe you deserve. Okay. That's something that is really important too. If you're dealing with children, custody issues and things like that, fight for it. Okay. Don't take the easy way out. Pursue the other person if they've done something that was not good. I feel like you need to take that route.